Aircraft welding. Name the three principal types of welding. Gas welding, electric arc welding, and electric resistant welding. What are some advantages of gas shielded arc welding? Weld stronger, more ductile, and more corrosion resistance. Which method of welding is less likely to cause buckling or warping of thin metal sheets? Electric arc welding. What is the purpose of shielding an arc weld with an inert gas? Prevent contamination from oxygen or nitrogen in the weld. What is a common method of controlling expansion when welding a joint? Place tack welds, puntos de soldadura, along the joint. What is the effect of inadequate penetration on a weld? The weld will be break. What is the purpose of the flux used with brazing and silver soldering? The flux clean base metal, removing oxide film. What type of flame is used when torch brazing or silver soldering? Neutral flame. What must be done to a soldering iron tip to increase the amount of heat transferred from the tip to the work? The tip must be cleaned and tinned. Estañada. What is the preferred method for welding aluminum? Tungsten inert gas, or TIG. What is the preferred method of welding magnesium? Tungsten inert gas, or TIG. What precaution must be observed in order to weld titanium? Oxygen and nitrogen kept away from the area of welding. Describe one type of repair that could be made to a dented steel tube cluster joint. A formed steel patch over the damaged area. How can a soft flame be obtained without reducing the heat output of the torch? Use a larger tip and adjust gas. What factors determine the amount of heat delivered by a gas welding torch. The tap, my bad, the tip size and gas pressure. When an oxyacetylene torch is extinguished, which valve is turned off first? Acetylene valve first always. When a gas welding project is completed, what safety precautions should be accomplished? Valves turn off and gas pressure relieved. What should be done to a heat-treated aluminum part after welded repairs are completed? The part must be reheat treated again. Welding magnesium can create a serious safety hazard. What is the nature of this hazard? Magnesium burns with a hot flame and is very hard to extinguish. What technique might be used to enable a tip-fitting inner sleeve to be inserted into a tubular repair? The inner tube must be chilled, which means cold, and the outer tube must be heat, which means torch. Aircraft fabric covering. Aircraft covering fabrics are made of materials from what two sources? organic materials and synthetic materials. How would you determine the strength requirement for fabric used to recover an aircraft? At least the same quality and strength of the fabric used by the original manufacturer. What two types of organic fibers are used for covering aircraft? Cotton and linen. What is meant by warp, weft, and bias or bias? What means warp, weft, and bias? Warp is the direction along the length of the fabric. Weft is across the warp at 90 degrees, and bias across the warp and weft 45 degrees. What is the purpose of a selvage edge on a roll of fabric? Prevent from unraveling, desenrollar. What identification marking is found on the selvage edge, and in which direction is the warp applied? FAA-PMA stamp there, and it's parallel to the line fly. How are the fabric type and strength requirements determined for fabric-covered aircraft? The original manufacturer determined fabric type, strength requirement, to never exceed a speed and wind loading. What type of synthetic fibers are used for covering an aircraft? Fiberglass and polyester fibers. Which of several types of fabric is unaffected by moisture and mildew? Mow. Fiberglass. What is the function of purpose of reinforcing tape? Used between the fabric and the rib stitching to prevent lacing cord from cutting through the fabric. Where would you use surface tape? Leading edge and trailing edge, rib stitchings, which mean puntadas, sweep seams, which mean costuras, and around corners. How should the edges of drainage, inspection, and ventilation holes be reinforced? With plastic, aluminum, and brass grommets, that is a kind of arandelas. What are the principal methods used to test the condition of fabric? Punch tester or laboratory pull testing. Fabric is considered unworthy when it has deteriorated to what percent of its original strength. Less than 70%. How should a structure that will be recovered with dope fabric be prepared following inspection and prior to covering? Treated with a protective paint or varnish. What is the principal advantage of envelope method for covering winds? Almost all the seams are machine sewed by the envelope supplier. What is a tee-off knot? It's an standard modified seam knot used on all stitches except the starting stitch. Name three common types of machine sewed seams. Name three common types of machine sewed seams. Plain overlap, folded fill, French fill. Where are anti-tear strips used? Under wing rib stitching, when the never exceed speed is greater than 250 miles per hour. How would you determine the correct spacing for rib stitching if the original spacing was unknown? Consult the chart in AC 4313-1B.